Okay, so we're back. We'll be talking about GOP releasing 30,000 files on the Epstein client list. Trump wanted to decimate Chicago, like he's gonna have scorched earth. Just losing his mind. Okay. Living his war fantasy and not understanding that he's supposed to be, quote unquote, bringing law and order, not trying to scorch, a city in the United States of America. But let's get into it. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you feel like hitting up the Cash App, feel free to hit up the Cash App. It's Hard Talk Radio 792. Let's get into it.
The files, and the time is apparently right now, but it will also take some time to comb through over 30,000 documents. And I do want to put up a post here from the House Oversight, the GOP Oversight, saying we just released all the subpoenaed documents from the DOJ related to the Jeffrey Epstein. Access them there at that site, of course, there on social media. James Comer also saying Oversight has released some 33,295 pages of Epstein-related records that were provided by the U.S. Department of Justice. The DOJ has indicated it will continue producing records while ensuring the redaction of victims' identities and child abuse materials. And that was a main component we heard from earlier on today with Speaker Mike Johnson. The privacy of this, as some of the people that were speaking behind closed doors on Capitol Hill today dated back to when they were some 14 years old. And of course, this bipartisan pressure to release the files related to the federal investigation into Epstein, a convicted sex offender who died in jail in 2019. Several accusers of Epstein and his partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving 20 years in prison for sex trafficking on Capitol Hill on Tuesday. They met privately with the House leadership there. The Oversight Committee is in the midst of an investigation into Epstein and has promised to release the files, which it just did, and is subpoenaed there from the Justice Department. A bipartisan legislative effort for more public access in progress. We heard from Thomas Massey, the representative from Kentucky, and others seeking to make the public's file in a discharge petition. So potentially getting past this in a big way today. There may not have to be a vote on the floor of the House. Let's take you right now, though, out to some comments from James Comer after meeting with some of these victims earlier on today. And this comes as we're also watching some 30,000 documents, pages of the Epstein files being released.
We've subpoenaed thus far in the initial batch. We subpoenaed 6 former attorneys general, as well as Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. We've expanded that to Alex Acosta. Acosta's coming in, I believe, September the 19th, 16th or 19th. We've got that date down. I know that we'll have a lot of questions for him with respect to an earlier Epstein prosecution that he was involved in when he was U.S. attorney. We have the documents, the initial batch that had been sent by the White House. As you know, we also subpoenaed Pam Bondi for those documents. The White House is working with us. I want to publicly thank the White House for turning over.
How many of you actually believe that they're going to turn over the Epstein files? That they're actually going to turn over 30,000 pages? Risking tension with Israel, risking tension with the Zionist government. You really think they're going to do that? How many of you actually think they're going to release those documents? And they have this lie that Trump was working undercover to bring in Epstein. That's the biggest lie they got there. Talk about a hoax.
over so many documents thus far. We're in the process of uploading those documents for full transparency so everyone in America can see those documents. It's going to, as quick as we can get them uploaded, and as the speaker said, there are 34,000 pages. So
Hello, Maximed.
we're doing everything we can to get those uploaded. We want those to be public as soon as possible. And then we're going to continue to bring in more people. We learned of some additional names today. We're going to do everything we can to give the American public the transparency they seek, as well as provide accountability in memory of the victims who have already passed away, as well as those that were in the room, and many others who haven't come forward. So we're sincere about this. This was a 2.5 hour discussion. It was as bipartisan as anything I've seen in the 9 years I've been here. Appreciate the speaker for giving us the authority to seek out everything that I think you all want, and the people that I talk to as I travel America want. We're going to do everything we can to get the answers and to do it as soon as possible. I yield back.
Question or two. Come on in. Good.
President, as you referred to this as the Epstein hoax, you just said talking to the victims. Is it a hoax?
I'm not sure what that comment refers to, but I've spoken to the president myself about this many times, and he is as insistent as we are. He is the most transparent president in memory, probably in the history of the country. As you
He transparent. How is he transparent? He said he was going to release the Epstein files. Then when it comes to it, he lies about it. How is he transparent? I want to know, how is he transparent? I don't see him being transparent at all. I see him being a deceiver. He's no better than Joe Biden. That is just a fact. A lot of you will have to just wake up. He is not for the American people. He is for billionaires. And you all think you're going to win with Trump. The only people winning are the billionaires who want people fighting at each other's throats over racism and other things. He is not for uniting the people. He is for dividing the people. That's what he's about. And unfortunately, many of you are not going to understand that until it's too late. When you're poor, you're homeless, or you're a minority and you're being hunted like an animal, because there's no protections for you anymore to keep these white supremacists from murdering you and making shoes out of your skin. Because you thought you were one of the good ones. You thought because you're also rich that your skin color doesn't matter. It will always matter to these people. They don't like you. You talk about the Democrats, guess what? The Republicans don't like you either. That's a fact. And many of you are going to get a rude awakening. Malcolm X said it best. Republicans are the wolves. They show their fangs and let the Negro know their place. The Democrats are the sly fox, okay, that pretend to be your friend, but will stab you in the back and poison your mind with ideologies that are destructive to any people, like feminism, single motherhood, okay, staying on welfare till you die. Okay, and other anti-life policies, anti-life alternative lifestyles that will destroy any community.
No, he stops. If he were here now, he would stand here and take your questions endlessly. That's his mind.
How would he take your questions when he has a knee-jerk reaction to tell people to stop talking about the Epstein files? He would not take your questions. Bring up Epstein and he's leaving the room. Here's the problem with that, him coming to Rhode Island and rounding up all these illegals that are doing these things that you're talking about, Gary, they're not going to go anywhere. Okay, Trump knows these illegals are vital to the American agricultural system, so they're not going to really be going anywhere. That's the unfortunate case. Republicans also value that cheap labor just like the Democrats. Okay, I don't know what to tell you, man.
And he wants the American people to have information so they can draw their own conclusions.
No, he does not want the American people to have have the information to draw their own conclusions. He wants the American people to fear him. He wants them to be under his fascist regime. The man idolizes Hitler's generals. He has a copy of Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf. That's what he's about. The thing is, Gary, these illegals are willing to do the jobs that you're not willing to do. They put you to work to do those things. You're going to demand a 401k. You're going to demand a higher pay rate. You're going to want medical benefits. You don't want to do the jobs they want to do. They do, Gary. You don't want to do those jobs. That's why they're here. That's why they're protected by billionaires and corporations. That's why we have human trafficking going on with these illegals. Why they're brought over here and put to work in these retail stores and franchises and even restaurants. 15-year-olds making beers for adults. 15-year-olds holding electric buzzsaws to cut meat. Gary, that's the issue. You want them gone, but none of you want to work in that blazing hot sun in the South and pick turnips and strawberries. That's the issue. You guys want to talk about me not being bright, but who's the one who voted for a president, Donald Trump, who rolled back the protections for farmers? And now farmers are on the brink of losing their farms. Who's the one that's not bright, John? It's not me. It's you. Who cares about the Epstein files? That's what you guys wrote on, though. So now you're switching up now? Gary, seriously, Epstein files? Who cares about the 2003 Epstein files? I care about my taxes and insurance. What happened to you guys being the party of family values? What happened to the fact that you guys wanted to protect kids? You guys don't care about kids. You guys don't care about families right now. Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I'm happy. I'm only glad that Trump won the election, and I knew he was going to win, is the fact that it revealed the hearts of the people in this nation, especially on the right. Okay? Look how you guys are acting. You guys will do anything for your fascist dictator, fake Jesus. You don't care that this man abused kids. You don't care. But you call out the Democrats for loosening laws against child pedos, but you can't call out the pedos on the right? Gotcha. Trump was right. You guys are poorly educated. He was so right.
I want to thank all of my survivor sisters who came before me today. I'll be very short. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey. but he had introduced me to Katie Ford.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered Republican. But I have my own mind, and I don't worship politicians. That's the difference between you and me. And you're always assuming because I am black that I'm a Democrat. That's where you messed up. Like I said, Trump was right. You guys are poorly educated. Okay. Yeah, they're all blue, right? They're not Zionists. They don't own both political parties. Like they care about the political parties because either one you vote for, the common people lose. That's what you all are not getting. Okay. You're a grown man calling another man that is not your father daddy. Sir, you need help. Clayton, you need help. I just mentioned how this man took away protections for farmers that Biden put in place. And you don't see it. You let that fly right over your head. Okay. Okay. This is why you guys are what Trump said, poorly educated. The fact that he called you poorly educated should, make you think this guy just insulted me. But like I said, you guys have no self-worth, no self-esteem, no common sense. It's the facts. This is why everyone is looking at you and thinking MAGA, yeah, and looking up the definition of MAGA. Like I said, it means in Nigerian, gullible idiot.
The owner of the Ford modeling agency. Epstein's reach went to the very was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey, but he had introduced me to Katie Ford, the owner of the Ford modeling agency. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him. Epstein was not just a serial predator, he was an international human trafficker. And many around him knew, many participated, and many profited. And yet, he was protected. So I stand here today for every woman who has been silenced, exploited, and dismissed. We are not asking for pity. We are here demanding accountability, and I'm demanding justice. Congress must choose.
And you guys say, who cares about the Epstein file? Who cares? You guys are just as disgusting as the Democrats. You guys are the gullible, like MAGA means, gullible idiot, sucker, confused. All right? Many of you come from red states that are below the poverty line. Okay, crime rate high for the rate of crime is so high. It's been high for 20 years. 20 years, that's 2 decades. Okay, and you want to talk about Chicago. The fact of the matter is, you are talking about Chicago, but you guys can't see, well, President Trump, can you come to Arkansas? Can you come to Mississippi? Can you come to the place where we are struggling, where we have crime, Mr. Trump, and help us out? All right? And you guys are so racist and angry, you can't even say, no, don't come to Chicago. Come to our state, Trump. We need help here. All right? You guys can't even say that. Yeah, get the people in Chicago, Trump. Get those black. Meanwhile, you got the murder rate sky high in Arkansas or in Arkansas. Theft. Human trafficking. Human trafficking goes down in the states that you live in. There are multiple videos on social media of how bad it is down south. You guys have to stand in line, single file, in the middle of the night to get health checkups. You guys don't even have proper working hospitals. And in Arkansas, okay, with Susan Huckabee, who doesn't care about you guys, just pocketing the money, single motherhood is through the roof. Through the roof. Women, young girls having babies, don't know how to provide for those kids. You don't care about kids. You don't care, but you are a party of family values. Trump's policies is going to cut free lunch for kids. Free lunch. You swear you're for life. You don't care about trafficking victims. You don't care about none of that. Who cares about the Epstein file list? Who cares? The more you guys talk, is the more people are disgusted by you. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. It is.
Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors?
They're going to protect those predators. They're going to protect them.
And also,
Whoa. William Forbes. It's their own fault. What do you mean by that, William Forbes? What do you mean it's their own fault? A baby is a fetus. Same thing. Okay. That's a lie. We have no problem down here in the South. Alan Mitchell, you're a liar. The reading level, okay? Barely any jobs down there. Don't lie. Do not lie. Don't lie. And farmers are about to lose their farms. Alan Mitchell, the blue states are what's holding up the red states. Stop lying. Stop lying. Micah Waring, I got free lunch in the 70s. It's embarrassing when your mom can't get lunch money because your dad decides he wants a new family. Sir, yeah, but you need free lunch, sir, because not everybody has a stable family. That was the point of public assistance, okay? Many of you want to cry and say, like, well, you know, black people are on welfare. Sir, if you go to a public school, that's public assistance. Everybody is not rich, including white people. Majority of you people down south are poor, white people. Every white person isn't rich. Okay? A lot of you want to hold on to these lies. I'm sorry, we live in the era of social media, and your lies are being blown apart. White people are coming online, and they even saying the fact that you guys, you know, you bathe twice a week. You guys don't even bathe every day. You bathe twice a week. Twice. Okay, so everything's coming out. Everything. Schofield, yeah, the red states will feel the cuts in education because they're the ones talking about pull yourself up by the bootstraps. No. Let the blue states cut off public assistance. Let's see how far you get with that slogan. You're going to find it real hard to even survive without public assistance from the blue states. No one's deleting comments. But if you want to talk racial slurs, that's deleted. You won't be doing that here. You won't be doing that here. There are many gangs. That's another thing. There's organized crime in these red states. There's gangs. There's shootings. They don't talk about that. They will not talk about that. Sorry, Alan. The only fool here is you. Okay? because you're lying and you think people are stupid. Trapper keeper, who's committing all the crimes? It's not black people. It's whites. Nice try. White people make up 60 to 70% of the population. Okay? Black people only make up 13%, and they make up 56% of the exonerated. You know what that means? That means they're arrested on false pretenses, framed for crimes. Now, white people, they lead in embezzlement, human trafficking, domestic violence. You guys love to beat on your wives, especially down south. Incest, terrorism, both foreign and domestic. Cyber crimes, mental illness, as we saw with the Minnesota shooting, and domestic terrorism, like I just mentioned, like Timothy McVeigh. Yeah. Or how about the Unabomber? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I thought so. Who makes up most of the serial killers, Trapper Keeper? Who makes up the majority of the serial killers? White men. Who makes up most of the serial rapists? White men. Human traffickers, white men. Go look it up. Look it up. Joining hate groups, white men. Biggest deadbeats, white men. From the days of slavery, raping black women in the slave quarters and then selling your own children on auction blocks to other plantation owners. Don't come at me with that crap, Trapper Keeper.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together...
No, Dave Clark, it's only a hate group when truth is spoken. Now you want to cry it's a hate group.
Survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
Hello, my name is Shantae Davies, and I'm here before you today as a survivor of decades of pain, the trauma, and betrayal at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and the people who enabled them, and a government that for far too long refused to help. In 2002, I was living in California, a young woman with high aspirations of becoming an actress. I was already beginning to make a name for myself in the industry. A person I trusted, someone I thought was a friend, invited me to meet a powerful woman who could help advance my career. That woman happened to be Ghislaine Maxwell. I was asked to give her a massage, though I had almost no experience. And when I did, she praised me and promised introductions to someone enormously powerful, someone who could change the course of my life. And that man was Jeffrey Epstein. At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. And what I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see everyone around us.
And this president called it a hoax. He called this a hoax. A hoax, but Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail. A hoax. And his supporters don't see a problem with that at all. Okay.
But one thing is certain, unless we learn from this history, monsters like Epstein will rise again. There are files, government files, that hold the truth about Epstein, who he knew, who owed him, who protected him, and why he was allowed to operate for so long without consequence. Why was Maxwell the only one held accountable when so many others played a role? Why does the government hide this information from the public?
Reading from a script, give me a break. She's reading what she wrote down to gather her thoughts, Steve Barber. Are you that slow? Wow. You're a pedophile defender, Steve Barber. Wow.
This secrecy is not protection, it's complicity. And as long as the truth is buried, justice will remain out of reach. That is why this bill matters. Passing it will, bless you, ensure that the suffering of survivors is not in vain. Passing it will bring accountability.
Trump ain't worried. He's all good. Gregory Nichols defends pedophiles. Wow. Pedophile apologetics. Wow. Apologetics. Gregory Nichols. You like pedophiles, man. How do you look yourself in the mirror? That's the thing. Okay. But like I said, you guys are just poorly educated and you're showing yourselves to everyone. That's the thing. Brian G, Steve Barber, she is making a public statement. She has to write it down so she can remember it. Don't tell him anything, Brian. Don't tell him anything. He's a big man. He's a grown man. He should take two of the working brain cells and understand why she has to write these things down. You're a public speaker. You're speaking in public. You have to gather your thoughts, make them concrete, and present them to the public so every one of us can understand. This isn't rocket science, but this is MAGA. This is MAGA. T-Mac, how can a man be okay with what happened to these women when they was children? Shake my head. This crap is crazy. Yeah, they will defend their orange messiah to the end. And let me tell you something. I was giving Joe Biden just as much crap as I was giving Donald Trump. Because Joe Biden is a PDF file too. He is. His daughter wrote a diary about it. And you look at her, she is broken. She is utterly distraught and broken. All right. David Thompson, Trump supporter do so because they have better information. No, you don't. You guys are poorly educated. You believe anything that comes out of Trump's mouth. And I bet you guys believe that Trump was working for the CIA to bring down Epstein. I bet you guys will believe that too. Why would, all right, Tristania, why would you say that about Joe Biden? Because there's a bunch of evidence showing that Joe Biden is a pedophile. The way he acts around kids, the diary that his daughter wrote about what he did to her. Okay. The times when he was left alone with kids and tried to drag them away from the cameras to be behind closed doors. Okay. So yeah, there is evidence of Joe Biden being a PDF file. Okay. There's also a video of him. Let's just say he's playing with the chicken while in public at a college graduation ceremony. Okay. I have that video on Rumble, Radical Thoughts 791. I agree with you about Biden. Well, Donald Trump is also a pedophile. If you listen to the testimony of Katie Johnson, Trump always was hanging out with pedophiles like John Casablancas, okay, and Ali Alexander. All right. Trump also had human trafficking being done in his Trump Plaza. You guys, the information is out there if you're willing to look, but a lot of you are not.
Transparency and prevention. It will help protect the next generation of predators who seek to place themselves above the law through.
Obama and the second Bush was straight up OGs. Didn't play them kid games. They were both pedophiles. Okay. All right. Second Bush, I'm not sure about, but Obama is a pedophile. Okay. And nobody wants to talk about the fact with Obama's, with that chef that died on Obama's property. Nobody wants to talk about that live-in chef anymore. Cover up. John Casablancas is a pedophile. Okay. Look up the information on John Casablancas. Look up the information on Trump, Katie Johnson, the court records involving Trump and Jeffrey Epstein abusing Katie Johnson. Read those court documents. Okay.
Wealth, influence, and connections. This is not just my story. It is about every survivor who carries invisible scars. It's about the weight we live with daily. It is about the families broken and the future stolen. So I ask you, President Trump and members of Congress, why do we continue to cover up sexual abuse and assault? Who are we covering for? Let the public know the truth. We cannot heal without justice. We cannot protect the future if we refuse to confront the past. Thank you.
GOP isn't going to do anything. They're not. They got pedophiles within their own ranks. 48 out of the 50 states are okay with child marriage. 48 out of the 50 states.
Oh, I lived it. I experienced it. You know, Jeffrey.
This is a woman talking, an ex-girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein talking now.
About 4 experienced it. You know, Jeffrey and I dated for a period of about 4 months, and there was only one friend other than Gillan who I crossed paths with in his home a couple times. There was only one friend who he spoke about regularly, who he was spending a lot of time with, and it was Donald Trump.
Wow. So over that 4 month time period, you're saying there's only two friends that you would run into in his home, Ghislaine and Donald Trump?
No. I did not run into Donald in his home. I ran into Ghislaine in his home, but I never ran into Donald Trump at Jeffrey Epstein's home. When I was groped by Donald, it was in his office, and Jeffrey delivered me to him and stood there and watched as it happened. So
Let's play that again.
So again, I lived it. I experienced it. You know, Jeffrey and I dated for a period of about 4 months, and there was only one friend other than Gillan who I crossed paths with in his home a couple times. There was only one friend who he spoke about regularly, who he was spending a lot of time with, and it was Donald Trump.
Wow. So over that 4 month time period, you're saying there's only two friends that you would run into in his home, Ghislaine and Donald Trump?
No. I did not run into Donald in his home. I ran into Ghislaine in his home, but I never ran into Donald Trump at Jeffrey Epstein's home. When I was groped by Donald, it was in his office, and Jeffrey delivered me to him and stood there and watched as it happened. So So again, and to get back to your earlier point about when you told me about the video,
All right. You just got a proof of your of your orange savior being a pedophile and a rapist.
Trump just posted a tweet declaring war on Chicago and suggesting he's going to burn Chicago to the ground. And last I checked, that's treason. That's just treason. You can't make war on the United States. It's in the Constitution. That's treason.
Pretty much. You don't talk that way about a city in the United States. I'm going to burn it to the ground. Your job, as you claim that you're going to do, is to clean up crime in Chicago, not burn it to the ground. And you guys are just laughing like the low IQ people that he says that you are, thinking that's a good thing. But wait when he comes to your neck of the woods. That's the thing, because this is not going to stop. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court.
Treason in the United States shall only consist of levying war against them. It's like we don't even remember the Constitution exists.
Yeah, they don't. A lot of you MAGAs don't care about the Constitution until it affects you. That's the thing. That's the sad thing about you guys. That's the problem. Many of you have to see the light is when you get affected by it. When you get affected by it, that's when you guys are like, oh man, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. Daddy Trump, ho, ho, ho. He's your daddy until you lose your health insurance. He's your daddy until you're a veteran and you lose your job. Okay? He's your daddy unless you're a woman, a single mother with multiple kids, a white single mother with multiple kids from different men, and now your public assistance is cut. Now you see the light. because you thought it was just black people and brown people that were going to be affected by Trump's policies. This is what Trump puts out. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. This is from a man who was a draft dodger. He wants to live this fantasy that he's a tough guy when he's not. This is why he likes to hang around dictators, people who really did go to war. Okay, like Putin. Okay, people who actually know what it's like to take a life. But Trump has never been that type of guy. And you all are following somebody who has never had that type of life. A man that has never met struggle, has never dealt with struggle, who has been privileged all his life, has a golden toilet for crying out loud. And you think he's for the common people. That's hilarious. Is that why you have farmers who are losing their minds because they're afraid of losing their farms? Like I said, is that why? Is that why trying to get back those Biden protections that protected their farms from being taken from them? Is that it? Let's take a look.
There will be, if there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Arkansas farmers are crying bankruptcy, begging the government for bailouts. And you know what? They voted for this. Trump's tariffs, Trump's inflation, Trump's big beautiful bill that doesn't pay a damn dime until 2026. That's not bad luck. That's FAFOF around and find out. 70% of farmers still say they believe in the tariffs that are crushing them.
The Democrats, J-Man, the Democrats voted against impeaching Trump. So all these MAGAs talking about the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones that are keeping Trump in power. So what do you MAGAs have to say now? What do you MAGAs have to say now? That's the thing. The truth. Mark Twain said, the truth has no defense against a fool, determined to believe a lie. Nothing sums up MAGA more than this quote. Yep. The thing is like people don't understand, and I've come to this realization that you have to vote on policies. You have to vote on what keeps food on your table and what will protect you as a small business owner or a person who has a small farm, or a person that provides services. All right. You have to think that way. And you have to think in the fact that even though both sides are evil, what side will provide you with protection of your farm, allow you to have food at the grocery store? What side? That's the thing. And even though if you pick the Democrats, okay, you will have to deal with some sort of fascism because both sides are fascists. That's just the truth. Okay. And people who voted for Trump voted wrong. You guys voted for racism. And you're seeing now that racism is expensive.
That's like cheering for the guy who just repoed your tractor. Loyalty this blind isn't just expensive, it's generational suicide. Look, I don't celebrate people losing farms, but actions have consequences. Arkansas voted overwhelmingly for Trump, and now they're learning the hard way that racism, culture wars, and blind loyalty don't put food on the table.
I just literally said that. Literally. Okay? You guys voted for hatred of other people who were born with a different skin color. That's it. And now you guys are suffering. That's the thing.
So let me get this straight. The farmers of Arkansas are asking the federal government for handouts, for checks, because they are struggling financially because of the tariffs and...
I thought you guys were the party of pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I thought you guys were about that life. Oh, you find out you guys are not. You guys are not. Okay? No left wing, no right wing. It's the same bird. Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay? Pretty much. Okay? Okay? A lot of you guys are just blinded by hatred and racism that your ancestors taught you, and your grandfather and your grandmother taught you, and your father taught you. And what has it led to? You about to starve. You are about to starve. That's the thing. And I will say it. God has a way of punishing people who claim to be his own, but do things like this, who have a heart to hate another human being. You guys pride yourself on lynching, burning, and harming black people. When black farmers, you know, it's another thing too. You don't hear nothing about black farmers struggling. You don't hear black farmers crying at all because they had to learn to deal without. Okay. That's what I notice. I see a lot of white farmers crying on social media. We're about to lose our farms. We're about to lose our farms. I don't see no black farmer saying nothing because they had to learn once again to deal without. And USAID used to withhold funds for them. And when black farmers actually got an opportunity to get funds, you racist white farmers went to court and sued and said that's racism. So now I'm just looking at this as like God is paying you all back for your racism. God is paying back these racist MAGA farmers. God is paying you all back. He is paying you all back. That's what it is. Okay? This is what happens. And you'll make excuses. Oh, he's living in the past. No. You guys love the past. You voted for Trump because he said you're going to bring back the country 300 years. You're going to take the country back. He's going to make America great again. Great again for who? Name a time in history when America was great for everyone, regardless of gender and color. You can't. Because you know what he said. That was code. The time to attack and lynch black people and take their property. That's what you guys wanted. But guess what? Trump ain't going to give you that. He's going to make sure you're all poor. That's it. Okay? Nobody's crying, Steve, but you will be crying because you will be starving and you will lose your medical insurance. Okay? Like I said, you guys are poorly educated and you guys pride yourself on this messiah, your white nationalist messiah who doesn't care about you. You think he's for family values when he's being backed by a gay techno-fascist, Peter Thiel? It's like I said, he is right, so right about you. A poorly educated, family values, but he has a gay man backing him. A gay billionaire is backing him. Want to bring in the era of dark enlightenment, of techno-feudal system. There will be only two classes, rich and poor. This is what you guys don't understand. Goodbye, 2%. Goodbye. I don't know what you're talking about, Muhammad. I got my own home. Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. Muhammad, I don't know what to tell you. All right? So you're barking up the wrong tree.
Other policies of Donald Trump. They can't sell their soybeans and other goods into foreign countries like China because of the tariffs. They're now too expensive for them to be able to sell them into China because of the retaliatory tariffs. And they can't afford equipment. They can't afford the high rising prices of equipment because of other tariffs on goods and manufacturing and raw material and everything like that. And they are saying they have never seen it this bad. There was a farmer who's in his 39th season of farming, and he says he has never seen it this bad. He literally said, Donald Trump, you said you love us.
You thought a man who's a con man since the 80s loved you. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. You guys, you're the party that says, oh, I don't see color. Oh, I don't see color. All right. You don't see color. You don't see integrity either. That's another thing. You guys don't see integrity. You loved us, Trump. You loved us. Why would he love you? This man has been conning and ripping off people all his life. Why would he love you, any of you? And I stand by that. Okay? I stand by the fact that God is good punishing racism in the farm industry. God is punishing you guys because you all voted on racism. You didn't vote on policy, you voted on racism. This man was a walking red flag. All of you saying, he loves me, he loves me. Your businesses, your homes, community. God punishes sin. And the sin that you guys have a major with is racism. The best president you ever had. The best president you ever have. Food prices going up. Gas prices going up. He's the best president you ever had. Right. The best president. You mean the best pedophile you've ever had? That's it. The best pedophile.
But I'm not seeing the fruits of your love. What the fuck? Donald Trump, you said you love us, but I'm not seeing the fruits of your love. What the fuck?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Oh, this can't be life. This can't be live. You guys are hilarious. You guys are hilarious. You guys voted for your own downfall. Your own downfall. He will have you eating out of garbage cans when he's through with you guys. Okay?
Arkansas farmers, and they're saying, of course, it's affecting everywhere else. We saw Nebraska was having problems, facing bankruptcy. Farmers across this country are facing a huge pinch, and a lot of it has to do with Donald Trump and his policies. Well, you should have thought about that, farmers for Trump, when you went into the voting booth and places like Arkansas, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska went ruby ass red in 2024 in November. You guys made your bed, you fucked around, and now you're finding out. So yeah, the fruits of Donald Trump's love are rotten pieces of shit. If you didn't know that going in, you know it now. So as your farm continues to struggle and you're looking for a socialist handout, why don't you try pulling yourself up by your bootstraps that you preach to everybody else about and do something about it? Because
pretty much you guys preach, do it, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Come on now, you single mother down south, multiple baby daddies. Okay, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You white farmers that are now have to struggle. You know what it's like to be a black farmer now. When you cut them off from getting funds for their farms, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You see how God don't like ugly? You see how God don't like ugly? Yeah. Yeah. As long as you eating, you're okay. That's what it is. That is what it is. These are the farmers, I bet you they go to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. Praising God, but calling his creation the N-word. All right? Whether they're black, Puerto Rican, Indian, you guys in church singing hymns, but when you look at your neighbor who's black, Indian, Chinese, you call him everything but a child of God. Now you're crying. Oh, Trump, you said you loved us, and I'm not seeing the fruit of your love. And I would say that God is laughing at you. You know why? Because you put Trump ahead of God. You did this to yourself. You put Trump as your Messiah. Because he was going to take the country back. And what was he going to restore it to? Yeah. You want the right to own, beat, and grape human beings. That's what you want to do. That's what's been passed down from generation to generation. Well, now we're seeing the truth now. We're seeing the truth. We're seeing who's really inferior with this white supremacy garbage that you're superior because you're born white. You're so superior that you voted for a man that goes against your best interests. Yes. Yes. I'll say it. God is not mocked.
It's everywhere.
Farmers are making a cry for help before it's too late. Countless farmers gathered to speak to representatives of Arkansas leaders to share the urgency that something needs to be done about the current state of farming. Jake Tester was at the meeting and now joins us in the studio with more. Jake.
Many farmers spoke up at the meeting, and the message was straightforward. They need help, and they need it now.
Mr. Trump, he looked at me, sir, and he said, I love you. Mr. Trump, I need to see the fruit of your love.
What is love do? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. no more. What is love? What is love? Man, Trump does not care about you. He don't care about nobody. They don't care. They don't care. All right? They don't. This is, woo! Oh, I'm gonna play that again.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of love.
It's like he's saying a love song. You said you loved me. This ain't the fruit of your love, Trump. You said you loved me. Vladimir Putin's in the chat. All these a-holes work for Vladimir Putin. Trump loves Putin. I don't know what to tell you. He's been an agent for Putin since the 80s. I don't know what to tell you. All right? So you bashing Putin, Trump's not going to like that. Your daddy Trump ain't going to like that. You better be nice to daddy Trump. You better you better be nice to daddy Trump. For he spanked you in front of his daddy, his boyfriend. Oh, boy, you guys...
Farmers in crisis align way out the door of the Woods Chapel Baptist Church in Brooklyn as hundreds of farmers from not only Northeast Arkansas, but from across the state came to voice their concerns about the current state of farming. Representatives from U.S. Congressman Rick Crawford, U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, and U.S. Senator John Boozman's offices were in attendance to hear those concerns. Among those farmers in attendance was a farmer.
Oh, here we go. Thomas Perry's. Don't even know the definition of black fatigue. You don't even know the definition of black fatigue. You don't know it. You just follow any type of trend on social media. All right. So let me help you out, Thomas Perry's. All right. Black fatigue, okay, was a term created by Mary Winters about the struggles and the trauma of growing up in white supremacist America and dealing with white supremacy. That's what it is, Thomas Perry's. Okay, so learn the definition of a term before you try to use it. That way you don't make yourself look like a clown and a buffoon on the internet. Goodbye, Mr. Paris.
Farmer in Woodruff County, Chris King. He told me this was his 39th harvest, and he has never seen it as bad as this.
And I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will carry on.
For King, the main problem starts with the fact that they can't sell for profit.
I just would like to see somebody help us get our markets back. We need our exports, and we just need to be paid for what we do. And that's not happening. And we're in real trouble.
But that is not the only issue. King's wife, Melissa King, and farmer in Biggers, Arkansas, Scott Brown, said they are struggling to afford the cost that is needed just to take care of the farm.
The prices that we're getting now are prices like they were when we were children, and what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now. I mean, the price of a combine when we were kids was, in the 20,000s, and now it's 100,000.
I farm 800 acres by myself. I can't afford any help. Paid for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. How's the guys farming 5 and 10,000 with 20 hands and $1 million combines and $1 million drills going to make it work?
But for Brown, there is something that rounds out all the issues that they are facing.
And this was due to Trump's ICE, great idea about ICE, and how all the workers ran away. All the illegal immigrants, they just ran away because they didn't want to go get caught by ICE. All right? So you guys are suffering now. Yep, poorly educated. Leopards eating y'all faces.
The tariffs.
I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm. When you try to sell a product, okay, U.S. soybeans leaving New Orleans without the tariff to China are cheaper than Brazilian soybeans at the current market. But when you put the tariff on top of them, Brazilian beans are cheaper.
So, how can this be fixed?
In the short term, they have no choice but to mail us a check. I don't know a farmer that likes the check program. Nobody wants to take taxpayer dollars, but nobody wants to go broke. Nobody wants to lose everything. Long term, we have to have options, markets, and places to sell our product.
Now, those represented.
Yes, the last 4 years were bad. Yeah, there were. But here's the thing, though. You guys want to talk about, I know what you want. You want to talk about the witch's brew, all right? But you guys are forgetting that Trump was the one that promoted the witch's brew. I know what you're going to say. But Trump promoted the witch's brew. That's what you guys leave out. He promoted that. And that's why a lot of people aren't here today, because Trump promoted it and Biden mandated it. Nice try. Okay? That's the thing. And you guys forgot about the fact he pulled this tariff garbage with China. And guess what happened? Our American tax dollars had to bail out the farmers because of Trump didn't learn his lesson the last time. The reality is Trump is trying to bring down America for the New World Order. That's what he's trying to do. And you guys can't see that. This is why he has Bill Gates. Remember, we all know about Bill Gates, right? Okay. You guys thought Trump was going to drain the swamp, yet he got Bill Gates at a meeting. Okay. All right. And this is the second meeting Trump has had with Bill Gates. Okay. So I think you guys need to wake up. Or the fact that you guys are just going to double down and say, Bill Gates is good now. Never mind what he was doing in the Biden administration. He's good now. That's what it's probably going to be. Oh, let's not forget the fact that also that Trump has made it now that you won't be taking 4 cups. You won't be taking 3 cups of the witch's brew now. You will be taking 4. 4 cups of the witch's brew. Make America great again, right? Okay.
Representatives in attendance will be taking these concerns they heard to Washington, D.C. to share with the government leaders so they can try and find a way to solve this problem before it's too late. Reporting in the studio, Jake Tester, K8 News.
Jake, thank you.
John Applegate, every Democrat president in history has given us something called deflation fixed the recession and got us out of the Great Depression. John Applegate, where's the Epstein files? Oh, MAGA doesn't care about that anymore. They care about other things now. They don't care. They're calling the they're calling the victims of Epstein's, they're liars, a whole bunch of stuff now, man. That's what they're doing. Okay. Let's talk about Harvard wins court case against Trump now.
So, boys and girls, what can we learn from the fact that Harvard University sued the Trump administration and won? The judge, Allison Burroughs, said that the Trump administration is revoking billions of dollars in research that had already been allocated from Congress was a violation of separation of powers because it has the power of the purse. It was ultra virus, meaning it exceeds the authority of the executive. That's not your job, Trump. It also says it's a violation of First Amendment. She said it was a smokescreen trying to use anti-Semitism to take the funds of left-leaning, liberal, quote-unquote, woke institutions. You can't do that as executive. Donald Trump just really wants the headlines. He's already said it. He doesn't care if it's legal. He's a freaking felon. He's a criminal. And so that's why I call them whack-a-mole. They continue to be batted down in courts, and they would keep being batted down in courts. The Supreme Court gave them procedural wins to let him pause, but at the end of the day, they can't even refuse the fact that he's a loser. So each one teach one. JJ.
Oh, that's basically it. Okay. Now let's talk about the Arkansas crime rate now. Let's talk about that.
Stop. Listen, here in Northwest Arkansas, the crime has gotten really bad. And they're not reporting it on the news. Well, they are, but it's going very quickly. It's like skimming. And I think it's because this area is attracting a lot of people, a lot of transplants. It's helping the economy grow, and we don't want bad press, right? For people who have lived here for a long time, we're not really enjoying this. A couple weeks ago, a woman got kidnapped at the Walmart in Bentonville. Bentonville is known for safety. It's known as the Mayberry meets Manhattan. She got kidnapped, she got taken, she got assaulted, broad daylight, getting into her car at Walmart in Bentonville. Don't even get me started about the MLK Walmart in Fayetteville. There have been numerous attempts of kidnapping, theft, following young women, and trafficking. A few months ago at the Pleasant Grove Rogers Walmart, I got in my car and a man came straight up to the window. I'm glad that my instinct is always to lock the door as soon as I get in the car, because a man came up to my car window, driver's side, and knocked on the window. I didn't answer it. He starts yelling, motioning, roll it down. Like, no. He grabs the handle of my car and tries to open my car door, to which I laid on the horn and he took off running. What I have been seeing is they are parking these big vans at Walmart. The people are getting out of them, pretending that they are homeless. And that is not me saying that people who are homeless are all bad. Obviously not. I've worked the majority of my career helping those who are unhoused. But there are specific people that are pretending to be homeless. They are part of a ring. And we are on the I-49 corridor. So trafficking and the interstate, and the fact that people can go from state to state within 20 minutes here between Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and even Kansas is only 45 minutes, makes it extremely difficult for people to get caught, because you're having to deal then with multiple governments, multiple state governments, and they are crossing these lines quickly. So please, keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah. So how about it, red states? Why aren't you guys talking about this? You got a high crime rate like this, and you got the nerve to look at blue states? You got the nerve to look at blue states. I don't like really Gavin Newsom. I don't, but he's airing out some dirty laundry about you guys in the red states.
We could talk about the carnage in Arkansas, again, one of the top 10 murder states in America, 2.6 times greater than San Francisco. Again, these are not just observations, they're stone cold facts.
Nobody's crying here, loser. You're the only one crying, okay? Worshipping a pedophile. Okay, Sean? You're the one worshiping a pedophile. Understand that. You're the one dealing with somebody who says the Epstein files is a hoax, totally disrespecting the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A man who has said that Ghislaine Maxwell, oh, I wish her well. Okay? So, Sean, understand that. You're defending a pedophile. Understand that. A man who is crippling the farm industry in America, who will affect if you will have groceries in the supermarket where you live one day. So, yes, Sean, the only person here is crying is you, because you are trying to fight off facts. One of these days, you're going to break down, Sean. You're going to understand you made a very bad choice.
And the fact remains, if the president is sincere about the issue of crime and violence, there's no question in my mind that he'll likely be sending the troops into Louisiana and Mississippi to address the just unconscionable wave of violence that continues to plague those states. Why aren't we calling this out? I mean, it's an administration that's always believed in alternative facts. In fact, facts don't matter, illusion rules. That's why the chatbots at Fox are so successful at night. Shape-shifting. Facts don't matter. They flood the zone of narrative. But facts are stubborn things. And the fact is, Mississippi. I mentioned Arkansas. How about Tennessee? Alabama. Alabama's top 3 murder states in America. Where's the president of the United States? I thought he cared. These are the folks these are his states that voted for him.
I was just talking about that. MAGA. Why aren't you demanding that Trump come to fix the crime rate in your states? Most of you are poor in these red states. Okay. Single motherhood is off the chain. Welfare. And when there's poverty, there is crime. There is drug abuse. Okay. Yes, Gavin Newsom is a scumbag. But what he's saying is true. All right. That's the thing. Master musicians, the people that live there want the criminals in jail. Well, they ain't telling Trump that. I'm talking about
crime and violence. It's about an expression of authoritarianism. You reflect.
What he says is true. You could look this up. Arkansas has a 20-year all-time high murder rate. Paige Turner.
And what Max's, I think, 2 of the last 3 days talking about being a dictator. I hope people pay attention. We are data-driven here. This basis of facts, in evidence. We still believe that facts matter. And that's
Gavin Newsom is posting all the homicide rates in all these red states, and Republicans are not happy about it. Texas homicide rate is 140% higher than California. Oklahoma's homicide rate is 150% higher than California. Arkansas's homicide rate is 220% higher than California. Louisiana's homicide rate is 380% higher than California. South Carolina's homicide rate is 220% higher than California. Alaska's homicide rate is 107%. Missouri's homicide rate is 200% higher than California. Tennessee's homicide rate is 220% higher than California. Alabama's homicide rate is 290% higher than California. Mississippi's homicide rate is 380% higher than California. And you might be asking, why am I just calling off all these numbers in these states? Because Donald Trump is still choosing to send the National Guard to all these other cities and states that are Democratic instead of focusing on what's the real issue. I have looked up all these numbers, and what Gavin Newsom posted, it's all true.
Okay, so what about that? Yeah, musician, what about that? Okay, they're not playing with the numbers. So since we're going to talk about crime, let's talk about Wisconsin right now. Black teen attacked at a Wisconsin farm fair.
Attacking a black boy and using racial slurs.
Lucas Kim talked with a community leader and friend of the family of the boy who was attacked. He's got you covered on her plea to law enforcement.
A group of racist white teens tried to put a black 14-year-old into a meat grinder. A meat grinder.
Video shows a group of boys attacking a black boy and using racial slurs.
Lucas Kim talked with a community leader and friend of the family of the boy who was attacked. He's got you covered on her plea to law enforcement. We want to warn you, some of this video may be disturbing to watch. We're also blurring faces because many are believed to be minors.
Cell phone video appears to show a group of teenagers attacking a 14-year-old African-American teen from Platteville in the town of Pulaski on Saturday, August 16.
And I'm looking at the video, and it tore my heart.
Lynn Parrott is the city of Platteville's alderperson at large and says she was shocked to see the video. The victim's mother sent it to her.
The slurs and the verbiage and the, beat that N-word and F that N-word and bust his eye, like, Why?
Parrott says thankfully the 14-year-old boy is recovering from his injuries and is okay physically, but says he's emotionally scarred from this incident forever.
He could get to the point where he doesn't trust. He'll lose friends. He'll withdraw. Is that what we want?
Parrott says the boy told his family that he was a target because the group mistook him for someone else. You can see in the video some of the people there tried to break up the fight. Iowa County Sheriff Mike Peterson says the fight is under investigation. His deputies responded that night because a fire was reported at the same spot. When they got there, the people who were part of the fight had left. They are reviewing the video now to identify the people involved. Meanwhile, Parrott is calling for accountability.
He went out to an event with some friends that he had some trust, right? And so if he trusted these people that brought him out there, like, what happened?
All right, so it's article time. Okay, fight involving teens in town of Pulaski, not racially motivated. Iowa County Sheriff's investigation finds. Iowa County, Wisconsin, a fight where a teenager was attacked by several others at a barn in the town of Pulaski. It's not racially motivated, according to the Iowa County Sheriff's Office. Okay. Instead, Sheriff Michael Peterson said the boy was confronted based on his previous behavior, to steal a firearm, assaulting a female, and making threats. It's not what the boy said. All right. That's what I'm not seeing here. Hold on 1 minute. Wait. Second. All right. Let's see something here. It's not being able, I can't read the rest of it. Moving on. Okay. Oh. Moving right along. Okay, so we're going to talk about 7 AFD politicians in Germany have been found unalived under suspicious circumstances before elections.
4 German AFD candidates who were supposed to sit in the elections died suddenly. 4 politicians that are a part of the AFD in Germany, which supports mass deportations. 4 of them died unexpectedly. I woke up today and it was 6 AFD politicians died suddenly. In the last hour, it is now 7 AFD politicians died suddenly. 7 from one party.
So basically, the AFD is what Elon Musk was working with to, they're far right, to have deportations in Germany. Okay, basically the Muslim migrants who are practically destroying Germany right now. Hold up a minute. Nope, my mistake. Okay. AFD, yes, they are for the far right. They are a nationalist group, but they've ended up unalived. Okay. And they want a ethno-white Germany. They want to bring back the far right. So I don't know who did this to them, but it is suspicious. All right, let's get into it more. Oh, boy. All right. Come on. Jeff Spencer, you're all crazy up north. That's not the issue, Jeff. We're talking about Arkansas. We're talking about the red states. Stop trying to switch the conversation. That's the issue. A lot of you guys don't like the facts because it doesn't go in your favor. Facts don't care about feelings, right? Facts don't care about feelings. Right? Right? Yeah. Oh, boy. All right. Second. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for the likes. Likes, share, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one.